This is the Cubs POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Chicago Cubs. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? Welcome into the Locked On Cubs POSTCAST here on the Locked On Cubs YouTube channel. It's the first Sunday of the NFL season, and since the Bears aren't playing to disappoint us, the Cubs did. Daniel Palencia blows it in the ninth inning. The offense, not great for this one. Carson Kelly, 2 home runs. Seiya Suzuki came through when you needed it. I don't understand what blocking at the plate is, apparently. That rule is something that escapes my brain of being able to understand it. We'll talk about all that. But the important story for this game today is the fact that Daniel Palencia has not been good recently. If you look at his stats throughout the entire season, you don't have to deep dive, be super overly analytically nerdy baseball stuff to just see what's right in front of you. If you look at Daniel Palencia every single month this season, he has been fantastic until this month. The most runs Daniel Palencia had ever given up in a full calendar month in 2025 was 2 earned runs. This month, Daniel Palencia has 7 games over the last, August and now in September, where he's given up at least 1 earned run. And then today capped it off. And hopefully he's not hurt, that whatever happened there, it's okay from a health perspective. But he can't be the Cubs closer anymore. It's time for a change. Brad Keller has been excellent for this team. He has been nails every single time he goes out there. But since the beginning of August, Daniel Palencia just hasn't been good. He has been going out there in moments when you need him to get out, whether it's the Giants series to where he's out there and it's a tie game in the 9th inning and he gives up a run. The Cubs lose that game. Happened the next series after that as well. He's just not out there performing the way that you need a closer to be. He's been incredible most of this season, but this last month stretch has not been good enough. And he can't be the Cubs closer, in my opinion, anymore. It should be Brad Keller. And it's not particularly close. I hate the big entrances stuff for closers because I feel like it always gets worse. But my gosh, doesn't it feel like the struggles have started to be ever since, the Gasolina song and everything, all the big intro started, that like he's been struggling, but he just hasn't been good recently. So I think today, to me, it cements the fact that Daniel Palencia should not be the Cubs closer the rest of the season. You're not catching the Brewers. You've got a pretty sizable lead on both the Padres and the Mets. Like, I'm very confident the Cubs are going to make the playoffs. Yes, they've got a 5.5 game lead over the Mets. I guess it's 5 games at this point now as we're live here over the Mets. And you got, some space behind you there. So the Cubs are solid in making the playoffs, yes. But this is about trying to have the best version of this team on the field when you get to the playoffs. And obviously this wasn't it, because for the first time since 1985, the Cubs rolled out 2 39-year-olds in their lineup, which is crazy to me. I know there's injuries and Tucker's hurt and PCA's hurt, and hopefully neither of them are that bad. But and they'll be back in the next series, hopefully here against Atlanta. But you put out a lineup that wasn't good, that didn't really do anything today. Carson Kelly had 2 home runs. Seiya Suzuki came through when you need him to. Ian Happ, who's been much better as of late, needed him to come through first, but he didn't. And then Seiya Suzuki saved him earlier in the game. But the story of this game really is it's Daniel Palencia. And the frustration is valid. Let's see. Real Dude 73 here says, in the chat, says 100-mile-an-hour pitch doesn't matter. It's location and movement. I think that to me is the sticking point there, is the location. He's been missing out on that. It's not like a velocity thing or anything like that. Like, he's just not getting the fastball located where it needs to go. These closing pitchers that are like Daniel Palencia, who are so limited in what they have in their arsenal, it can work, but there's a small window there's a small margin of error for a guy like him, where if you're putting cookies over the plate and they're making contact, they're going to take you deep like they did today. And they pointed out on the broadcast, like, this is the first time in his career he's given up 2 home runs in an inning. All that stuff is valid. And again, he's been good up until August, but it just hasn't been good enough lately. And if you want what's best for the Cubs, you have to go out there and you have to make the change. You have to put Brad Keller in as your closer. And I don't know if that means Palencia just moves down to the the 8th inning role or the next spot down in the rotation, in the bullpen. I don't really know who else is up there right now in terms of the guys that you really believe in. Thielbar was good in this game. Kittredge and Rogers have been up and down for the most part. Neither of them has been a deadline acquisition that, makes you feel excited about what Jed Hoyer did at the deadline. But that's the change that needs to happen. Let's see. Ryan says, worst lineup they could throw out there in a game that means something. Great manager in front office. Obviously some sarcasm in here. Great real estate moves, though. It's the real estate stuff always comes up after games like this, and it's deserved because it's frustrating with a game like this. Like, you shouldn't lose series to the Nationals. It doesn't matter what time of the year it is. They're an awful baseball team. The Cubs, if they ever wanted to have a chance to catch the Brewers, which we're going to now cross that one off the list, we won't be saying that anymore. But you got to score runs, and the lineup has been putrid the last 2 days. So it's not just Daniel Palencia's fault. Like, the Cubs had opportunities. They had guys on base over the last 2 games, and the lineup didn't do their job. You can't rely on one guy to be bringing everyone in Kyle Tucker or Matt Shaw or Nico Horner. Like, this lineup in the second half of the season, post All-Star break, has been putrid. And there's been flashes like Friday where it's like, oh, look, like they're awake. They're doing some things right. But far more than not, it's been bad from the lineup, and they're just not producing for going out in any way, shape, or form that you need them to. So not great. Not a great day for the Cubs, to say the least. We'll talk about the positive stuff, which will be Carson Kelly and the pitching plan. Plus, more of your questions, your comments, your frustrations are going to be welcome into the show as well here after this break on the Locked on Cubs postcast on the Locked on Cubs YouTube channel. Today's show is brought to you by Monarch Money. Most people can't name all their financial accounts or even what they're worth, whether it's 401k properties or investments, and we don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've put off organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. Monarch does the heavy lifting for you as well, so you can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Don't let the financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB. Today's show is also brought to you by Zippix toothpicks. Whether you're looking for nicotine satisfaction or an energy boost, Zippix has you covered with their nicotine and caffeine-infused toothpicks. For nicotine users, Zippix provides a discreet way to satisfy cravings and the hand-to-mouth habit without vaping or smoking. Zippix can be a helpful tool as you work to reduce your dependence on vaping. It's available in 6 great flavors with 2 milligram and 3 milligram nicotine options. And if you need energy without the crash, their caffeine toothpicks are a game changer. Go to zippixtoothpicks.com using code LOCKEDON for 10% off your first order. Must be 21 or older to order. Warning, nicotine is an addictive chemical. That's zippixtoothpicks.com. Promo code LOCKEDON. Zip more, smoke less with Zippix toothpicks. All right, so the plan for real quick, we'll hit on the positive stuff here for a second before we get back to the frustrations of this game. For the second time this year, we've seen Drew Pomeranz open for Colin Rea, and it was perfect. It was a well-executed plan. I don't know why this isn't something they haven't tried to do more often with Colin Rea specifically, just because now at 2-game sample size, you're seeing how well it can work for him. Obviously, it's dependent on lineups and things like that, but in theory, you can put someone else out there besides Pomeranz, right? It doesn't have to be a team that's a lefty, heavy lineup, and that's why Pomeranz is going out there in the first. You could try the same thing with a righty and then have Colin Rea come in after that. So that's the positive of what Pomeranz did to open the game, and then Colin Rea coming in, getting you into the 7th inning before Thielbar and Keller, they shut the door. Like, as bad as the offense was in this game and the lineup hasn't been able to produce in the last 2 days, the Cubs should have won this game because they had the lead. The pitching did its job all the way up until Daniel Palencia. So I like the strategy. I like to see, maybe more of it for the Cubs, honestly, at this point in the season. If you're going to see guys have success like this, you might as well, just keep doing it. But they won't. This is going to be a one-off thing again that the Cubs are doing. I was a little bit surprised that they did it because it felt pretty, competent, or I felt pretty confident that Colin Ray was starting today. So when they announced it last night, I was a bit surprised. But I don't know. Try it again. See if it keeps working. Like, you got to, Colin Ray at this point, like in a 3-game playoff series, he might not even factor into the playoffs at this point because of the way this game is. So, keep trying different things to try to get as many wins as you can. But again, the bigger picture of this one is Palencia can't be the closer. Thomas said, why did the Cubs even add Santana? It's a great question. It's the one thing of like all these recent moves that like, I don't quite understand what the plan was. Michael Busch seems to be the only regular guy that has to get days off when he struggles. Like PCA that's been introduced before he hit the ball off his knee, with Alcantara playing potentially against lefties more often. But Busch has been out there or against all righties, and he's barely played this year against lefties. Justin Turner was the guy, and now it's Santana. Frankly, I don't get it. I don't get why that's the plan that you have out there. If he can have days off, if Michael Busch can, I don't understand why when Owen Casey was up here, why Ian Happ couldn't have time off, why Kyle Tucker couldn't have time off, why Seiya Suzuki can't have time off. I do find it strange to me that the only guy who's consistently in the lineup that gets pulled for a lefty-lefty matchup is Michael Busch, or when you're just struggling. So I don't want to see it anymore. Santana and Turner, they don't really do much for you. I think it's another thing where you can look at the deadline and say, if you're going to be that hell-bent on taking Michael Busch out of the lineup against lefties, that Jed Hoyer should have done more at the deadline. He should have added a bat that was better, that could play more frequently at first base instead of Turner and now Santana, but they didn't do that. So I for the longest time, I've been saying all year, I would rather to see Busch out there or have him immediately come in today. Today it was just obviously clearly a full off day. Most of the time, Craig Counsell obviously brings in Michael Busch as soon as the lefty is out of the game. They didn't do that, but again, it's been, 1985 was the last time the Cubs had 2 players 39 years and older in their starting lineup. Let's see. Holtz My Beer says, great name. Owen Casey and Moises Ballesteros should both be playing. Fully confident those guys will help generate runs, but Counsell is content with 86 and 76. Yeah, Moises is one that I would have liked to see come up, but they're not making that move. And while Owen Casey is still in Chicago, he's not going to play because Kyle Tucker is going to be back at some point here in the next couple days, or they would have put Kyle Tucker on the injured list. But as Jen Wei says here in the chat, Craig Counsell doesn't trust the young guys. And he wants to roll out dinosaurs. No offense to those guys, but especially because our age difference isn't that significant. I'm closer to Carlos Santana and Justin Turner than I am to Matt Shaw. But you're a dinosaur in terms of baseball. So those guys can play, but the young guys can't. So we'll see what happens. I'm curious if what the Cubs plan will be from here. We've seen Craig Counsell. He's been more willing to make changes in the bullpen than he has with the lineup the entire year. It took forever for Ian Happ to move out of the leadoff role, but it didn't take long for them to go from Porter Hodge to to Ryan Presley to then Daniel Palencia. So I do wonder if we will see a change for Palencia. I would like them to, and I think my gut tells me they will make a change here. It might not be for his next appearance, again, depending on how bad whatever hip injury, whatever is going on with Daniel Palencia. Looked like from watching it perspective, it looks like he overdid himself and he got hurt, felt it right away. We'll see. Let's see. Larry just says Counsell sucks. Yeah, he's not making a lot of friends this year. Kevin says, hey, at least Seiya got an RBI today. Only took him 7+ weeks to get 15 RBIs after the All-Star break. Seiya Suzuki, it's as much as he's been struggling, Ian Happ hits that grounder and goes, and they throw out Alcantara at the plate, which we'll talk about here in a second. Seiya Suzuki did come through. After that, I think it's a bad call at the plate. I'll explain why in a second, but I think everyone probably feels that way. But Seiya Suzuki did come through in the moment. Like, you got support from him. Carson Kelly hit his 2 home runs. He's been swinging the bat a lot better as of late. So it wasn't perfect from your offense or your lineup and anything like that, but they came through when you needed them. But your closer he blew it. The play at the plate, in the end, it doesn't matter because, as I said there, Seiya Suzuki came through. But I don't understand what blocking at the plate means anymore, because you look at every replay, you look at his knee is right over the corner of the plate. There is nowhere for Alcantara to slide. Alcantara, thankfully, he's not hurt because it looked ugly when he got up. He was limping pretty bad and looked like, and he grabbed that ankle immediately as he slid into the plate. They put that rule in place for a reason, but if you're not going to let guys run over the catcher like we used to do, then that rule's garbage the way that it was called on the field. It's not why the Cubs lost, but it's a bad call because either you have to give him more of the plate to be safe because he would have been, or he should be allowed to put his shoulder down and try out for the Chicago Bears and run through the catcher. Like, to me, it's got to be one way or the other. So I don't get that call. It's just a frustration on top of anything. We probably would have spent a lot more time with it on that if Palencia didn't blow it in the 9th inning, but it absolutely should have been interference. They won't tell us why it wasn't. They'll just, go on the mic real quick and just say that everyone that viewed it that way is wrong. But it was that's a bad loss for the Cubs. That's a bad series loss. Now they face the Atlanta Braves. This should be series that you're constantly winning. Cubs are not doing that right now. They're having some good games, but this team has been a roller coaster of mediocrity as of late, where it's good, it's bad, and it's not really going all bad or all good for this team. They're just kind of floating right there in the middle at this moment. So hopefully Tucker and PCA will be back in this upcoming series and the lineup can get going again, because those two guys did look like they were starting to turn their seasons around before that. So that will do it for us. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back with you guys. We should be tomorrow night. So tomorrow night we'll be double dipping a little bit. We'll be here on the Locked on Cubs YouTube channel for a Cubs post game show, as well as tomorrow night we'll be here, be with you guys live if you're a Bears fan watching after the Monday night game versus the Vikings over on the Locked on Bears channel as well. So thank you guys for watching. Remember, hit that subscribe button, plus anywhere you find your podcast on Apple and Spotify. We'll talk to you all tomorrow night. Have a good one. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday.